Stop, look, and listen.
At Westside Young Leaders Academy, WYLA, we are all about building the future leaders of tomorrow. WYLA is a provider of special classes, programs, projects, and opportunities designed to bring the inherent genius out of our young African Caribbeans. The goals of WYLA are to instill the tenets of success in our young leaders at an early age, creating an awareness and understanding of the opportunities that exist. The Academy provides consistent motivation to encourage participants to stay focused and to pursue those opportunities with passion. Get in touch now or visit wyla.com. WYLA, building the future leaders.
Oh, okay. So there you go, family. Our usual adverts, just promoting what some of our people are trying to do in our community. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening to everyone who is currently tuned in. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom, shalom. Ja, Rastafari to all of my Rasta brothers and sisters. Special greetings to DJ Mr. P. Thank you, brother. You are literally like clockwork every week. Wonderful to see you again, tuning in to the Image and Nation show. Assalamu alaikum to you, my dear brother. And thank you very much for your continued support. And also to all of you from wherever you are tuned in this evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have another one of those shows for you this evening where every week I try to do, I'm trying to do less, but I always feel like I do too much in terms of what I want to try and get through, but hopefully it will all work out fine. But I'm just very happy. I'm looking out of the window right now and the weather is absolutely beautiful. It's been a beautiful day. Obviously we got our 4 days of sunshine on the way, what they call the English summer. And so I'm looking forward to those 4 days or so, because normally that's around what we get. And then all hell breaks loose and then we're back to the abysmal up and down kind of weather that we get in this country. But, you know, I'm very grateful, thankful to Almighty God that he spared my life from last week to this week. And that once again, given this opportunity to speak to you wherever you may be tuned in from, whatever part of the world that you're in. Don't forget, please let us know where you are in the world, where you are tuning in from this evening. Also, don't forget, as it says on the screen, like, share, and subscribe. This is really, really important to us that you spread the message. As you know, we are recording the show and it's available on the Nation of Islam London Study Group new website. And you can always revisit and you can also share, like, and subscribe. And don't forget that donation button, dear family. Hit it and give whatever you can to help us to keep going and to do more of the work that we're trying to do. What is it that we're trying to do, dear family? We are trying to enlighten. We want brothers and sisters, we want Black people, original people, African people on a global scale to begin once again to use our imagination, to be able to conjure up within our own minds, our own solutions and our own destiny, and to be able to have what's called self-determination. It's critically important, dear family, that we are able to think outside of a box that has been designed for us to think within. And as long as we are thinking within that framework of that box, we can never, ever truly be the free, liberated people that we were created to be by Almighty God Allah. It is very, very important, dear family, that we never, ever forget the reality of the conditions under which we currently live. And even though some of us may have become used to these conditions, and maybe some of us are even excelling to some degree within these conditions. And, we may have a nice home, or we may have some money in the bank, or we may drive a nice car. We may have some trinkets, some material items that we can call our own. And as a result of that, we may have achieved a level of comfort, and we may feel comfortable. But please remember, dear family, that that's a minority of us who are in that type of position and condition. In reality, the vast majority of our people on this planet, whether we are here in the United Kingdom, throughout Europe, and on the continent of Africa and the Caribbean and the isles of the Pacific, the vast majority of people on this planet today, according to the statistics, live on less than $1 a day. And there is tremendous poverty and tremendous hardship all around the world. And in reality, even those of us who think that we have arrived and that we are in that comfort zone, in reality, if we were to examine, as Bob Marley said, Bob Marley asked the question, are you satisfied with the life you're living? Just really ask yourself that question, and look around you and look at the kind of world that we are currently in. And you will have to admit, dear family, that tremendous change is needed. Okay. And we can't sit back and think that change is going to come via osmosis or abracadabra, some magic wand that somebody's going to wave. It will only come when you and I recognize that we have a responsibility, we have a duty to bring about the change that we want to see. And so the Imagination show is really, very, very serious. We're really not playing with it. We're really trying to encourage our people to do something positive and constructive for ourselves. Okay, so that's what we're all about here. Dear brothers and sisters, dear beloved family. So once again, Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak. And as you can see, today marks the 21st day of our Ramadan fast. And it's beautiful, man. It's very, very beautiful. And again, I would encourage all of us to learn to fast. Okay, as we said last week, it is a prescription. It's absolutely good for you. It's a wonderful way to regain your self-control and your self-discipline. It's a very, very beautiful thing. It is not easy, nor is it designed to be easy. Okay, we can't constantly be in search of ease. All right, we need some ease. We need, the Holy Quran says it like this: after difficulty comes ease. But understand that the difficulty is a necessary part of life. Okay, that's what really keeps you alive. That's what makes you, viable as a living entity, as a sentient being. When you look at, if you go to the hospital and you look at the life support machine, the sign of life is that blip that's going up and down, blip, 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 up and down. So you got hills and valleys, or hills and troughs. You understand what I'm saying? That's life. That's what life is all about. It's ups and downs. It's going through something in order to get to your destination. When you look at that same machine, the sign of death is that horizontal line, and you hear that continuous, that's death, dear family. So we can't be laying down and be on that horizontal plane and seeking to have that kind of ease throughout our lives, because literally what that represents is death. And so I would encourage all of us to, get active, man. Get active in life, and really appreciate that the more active we are, the more alive we are, the more capable we are of bringing about changes that can really affect us, our families, and the unborn generations yet to come. It's on us. All of the people that you've ever admired, believe it or not, they were just like you, man. They were just like you, sister. They really were. They did all the things that you did, in the sense that, and they had all the fears that you have, and they had all of the doubts and whatever. But there was something about those people that we admire throughout history, that they realized that, you know, regardless of the danger, regardless of the fear factor, regardless of all of these doubts and fears that they may have had, they knew that they had to go forward and do things in order to bring about change and in order to really live a full life. And so welcome once again to episode 28 of the Image a Nation show. And this one is entitled The Root Cause. The Root Cause. Believe it or not, dear family, unfortunately, we live in a world where most of the problems that beset the members of the human family, how people go about trying to solve these problems is that they tend to go to the branch of the tree. They go to a limb or a branch for the particular answer, and they forget the root that is buried deep in the earth, and which requires effort in order to get to that root, in order to understand the root of the problem, as opposed to, you know, branch solutions, which is halfway or 3/4 up the tree. This is the wrong approach to solving problems. Whenever we have a problem, dear family, we should really go in search of the root cause, because once we can expose the root cause, that problem is on its way to being solved. But as long as we don't know the root cause and we're starting somewhere up here on the tree, then we can get some relief, but we will never, ever truly solve the problem because we haven't gone to the root of the problem. I really do hope that makes sense. What is the root cause of the many contentious issues facing Black people in the European, Western, or white man's world? And believe me, there are so many issues. I mean, I made a whole list of things here, but in truth, we didn't even really touch the tip of the iceberg in terms of the kind of things that we face today and that besets us, and that if we're ever going to be able to really solve much or many of these problems, we must know the root cause of things like our belief in a spook God. This is a real problem that we have today as Black people. We believe in spooks. You know, we've been brought up on cartoons and fairy tales, and now, unfortunately, we see God in the same way. Okay, anti-Black racism, that's something that's directed against us, and that's something that's very real, and it's on a global scale, and we have to come to terms with the fact that it exists and stop trying to be in denial about anti-Black racism, which keeps raising its head. We keep wishing it away. We keep believing these liars when they tell you, oh, we're living in a post-racial society. No, dear family, anti-Black racism is absolutely prevalent. And it's so bad that Black people practice it. Did you hear what I said? I said Black people practice, many Black people practice anti-Black racism. Some of the most racist, anti-Black racist people on the planet are Black people, because we've been conditioned to have that type of mentality where we literally are against our own selves. Miseducation is a real problem, okay? Because, you know, every week here, we try to do some education. What does that mean? It comes from a Latin root, which means to educe or to draw out. We try to draw out the reality of what's in the person, what's in the individual, what's in the man or the woman, as opposed to the miseducation that we've received about ourselves. You know, you got to understand, family. Imagine, do you really appreciate what happened to us as a people? I mean, I don't want to spend too much time because, like I said, I've got so much to get through. But do you understand that when you bring people from Africa in chains and then you systematically destroy the people by First of all, you breed the men and the women like stud horses. Then as soon as the new baby is born, you then kill the mother and the father of that baby. Do you know that's what they used to do, family? They would kill the mother and the father. Why? So that the mother couldn't teach the child the mother tongue, and that the father couldn't pass on the father's name. So that this child now is an empty vessel, devoid of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and most importantly, a knowledge of self and a knowledge of his or her creator. Then that same enemy would then pour into that child what they want to put into the child. And what did they put into black people? We found you Negroes or niggers in Africa with a bone in your nose, swinging through the trees. You contributed nothing to history. Well, this is complete fallacy. It's a complete lie, and it's miseducation. And many of us as a people grew up with that kind of mentality. Do you know? Can you even begin to appreciate what that kind of mentality does to a person, beloved? Thinking that you're nothing. So this is, I mean, like I said, I could spend so much time on each of these, but I'm just going to quickly go through them. Ghetto living, you know, this thing. Do you know that some of us literally relish the idea of ghetto living? Like we're the ghetto people, and we think that it's almost like some of us wear it like as a badge of honor. That's the height of ignorance, dear family, when you understand that you come from a long line of royalty, that you are literally historically kings and queens, man. And now we're wallowing in ghettos, and we think, did you know that if somebody tries to confine us to a ghetto, did you know that our duty is to turn that ghetto into a paradise? How many of us think like that? We don't even think like that. Most of us, when you hear the talk, is we're trying to get out of the ghetto to get somewhere else among some other people that's more acceptable, rather than thinking about where we live. If it's rough and horrible and nasty, we should be coming together, pooling resources, and make our environment a decent place to live. See, but it's unfortunate again, but you know, some people, you take them, man, you put them in a palace, and they'll turn that palace into a ghetto. And then you can take another man, put him in the ghetto, and he will make the ghetto into a palace. Come on, man. It's just the way we think. We just got to understand that somebody has done something to us, okay? Unemployment, that's a big deal. It's a big deal, okay? We literally are a people today who, you know, we don't have the best jobs, okay? We do not earn the kind of money that we ought to earn, that we need to earn when we live in a society like this, where the philosophy is money makes the world go round, and most of us are still juggling every week, and we can't make ends meet to survive in a world like this because of unemployment. Imprisonment, we're chock-a-block in all of the prison institutions up and down this country. We are overrepresented. Mental health, we're in the mental institutions again. You know, I saw a video posted by a brother just recently who had been sectioned under this system, and man, you know, my heart went out to the brother because the way he was talking, the kind of injustice that has been heaped upon him. And he's not the only one. There's so many of our people caught up in this mental health environment. And you got to understand, dear family, when you see Black people today, okay, in the Western world who are sane, quote unquote, sane, man, you're looking at miracle. You are looking at a miracle, because I'm telling you, man, more of us should be insane based on what we've had to deal with and what we continue to deal with on a daily basis. Racial profiling, you know, we've been profiled all the time, dear family, and we've been stereotyping, bad healthcare. Again, see, you know, I mean, like I said, all of this stuff, man, these are the things that we face every single day. And the saddest part about it is that most of us are exposed to these types of realities and don't even know it. We don't even realize that the healthcare that we receive is not necessarily the healthcare that other people are getting. We get bad healthcare. Broken families, dear family, our families are absolutely destroyed, man. it becomes almost a phenomenon now where you look around and you see a black couple, happy couple with children, and you're like, wow, that's so beautiful, because it's actually becoming more and more rare to see that, dear family. We just think about things like this, because again, we may think, oh, it's no big deal. It is a big deal, man. Family is the cornerstone of nation, okay? And when our families are just continuously broken, and you can't see loving black couples with children in strong marriages, man, then whoa, you're looking at there's some red flags there, and there's some real danger signals, okay? No self-interest. Imagine, I've talked about this before. Everybody on the planet's got self-interest, and they're not embarrassed about it. We're the only people. Okay, when we start manifesting any kind of self-interest, immediately people start pointing the finger at us. Oh, that's reverse racism. To be interested in yourself, and we fall for it, and then we start running off in opposite directions. Oh no, I haven't got any. I'm not. This is not about myself, and we have to include everybody else when we're talking about self-interest. Come on, man. Police brutality, that's real, dear family. We touch on that some more later on. Black on black crime, that's horrible, horrible. You know, when I listen to some of our young people in like on some of these music videos, I hesitate to even call them music videos, but just some of the language that we're using and some of the types of programs that we are making, I mean, man, we don't even, there's a scripture that says, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. And again, that's the kind of attitude I adopt to my people, to our people, because in truth, I know that so much of what we do is just based on ignorance. Because if we really understood what we were doing when we were stabbing and shooting and beating and abusing one another, my God, domestic violence, that's real. That's real. And in particular, a lot of women are really, they suffer in silence, but it's real. And people know that it goes on in the Black community, and we don't say enough about it, and we don't do enough about it, and we don't prevent it. And again, these are all things that have to be addressed if we are to become the kind of people. There's so many of these things in this list that are not spoken about, and we keep quiet, and we like the things that we can kind of point outwards and say, yeah, the system is doing this and the system is doing that, and the police, and we know all about that stuff. But some of this stuff is to do with us, man. Disunity, that's to do with us, okay? There's nobody stopping us from coming together. They'll try, but in truth, we can come together. But we're the ones who are not unified because we've chosen not to be unified. Puppet leaders, we got puppet leaders. Most of the leaders that are running the African countries today, come on, man, look at their behavior, look at their actions, even in the Caribbean, same thing. Right now, all of these European nations who started this stuff during the so-called pandemic, they've lifted all the restrictions. You go to the Caribbean, it's still got people down there keeping these restrictions on our people. Go to Africa, still got, why? Why? Because Massa told you to, and you've got to be even more draconian than Massa. Come on, man. And you're just not even affected in the same way that these nations have been affected, because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, this is a pestilence from heaven. Understand that it's not aimed at you, but you're going to be more draconian with your measures, your restrictive measures against your own people than even the enemy who initiated everything is. Come on, dear family. Superstition and religious ignorance. That comes into the same thing as belief in a spook god, but I mean, it's kind of different in the sense that it's just the things that we do and say, I think there's still some of us who still say touch wood when we're going to say something, touch wood. Superstition, I never say to anybody when they sneeze, bless you. It's not necessary. what does that mean? I mean, but like we just repeat things that we hear, and it's almost like if you don't do it, then you're the enemy. You're weird. You're strange. Go to a funeral, everybody's crying, so you got to cry. No, if I don't feel like I need to cry, I'm not going to cry, dear family. I can cry, believe me, and I've cried in my life, but I don't cry on cue. Okay. And I don't laugh on cue. We just have to learn to have our own way about ourselves. We need to be stronger, man, and stop following these crazy notions, cowardice, fear. These are real impediments to growth and development. These are real impediments to forward motion in a people. Fear, cowardice. We gotta rid ourselves of these things. Deaf, dumb, and blind. This is all scriptural stuff, man. Again, all over the African continent, and I think in parts of the Caribbean as well, you find the three monkeys. Okay, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. This is a crazy, crazy philosophy. Okay, we're surrounded by evil every day, dear family. Okay, we hear evil every day and we see evil every day. Come on, stop pretending and face up to the reality, because the only way that you can combat something, the only way that you can deal with it is by acknowledging it in the first place. But while we trying to bury our heads in the sand, or covering our ears and covering our mouth and covering our eyes, no, dear beloved family, we must wake up. Trendsetters. I put that one in there because, again, I see us, man. We're like the trendsetters, and everybody follows Black people in terms of fashion. But really, these fashions, are they really us? Are they really about us? Some of our sisters, man, you're out there. God knows what you're going to do this summer if we do get those 4 days of sunshine. Naked. We're just naked, and we think this is fashion and this is good, man. But we're really playing into the hands of Satan. We're really playing into the hands of the devil. And then the brothers, I can't even believe that we're still walking around with our trousers hanging down around our crotch. And they've even designed the trousers now to have that sagging crotch area. It looks like a baby with a nappy full of poo. I mean, it's one of the most ridiculous things. I mean, worse than that was when we went into the ragamuffin era in the early 80s and middle 80s, and we all became ragamuffins, and we was wearing torn up jeans and torn up t-shirts and all this kind of stuff. And these were being sold in shops. So somebody's selling you something ripped and torn. And yeah, I know you think it's, yeah, man, I'm hip. It's fashion. Brothers and sisters, we are the laughing stock. People are laughing at us. I know you think that, this is some progressive thing. It really isn't. It really isn't, dear family. And we just have to appreciate that, if you and I go for a walk tomorrow into the West End and I'm wearing my 3-piece suit, my business suit, business, meaning that I'm busy and I'm about business and I'm a serious man. I look like one of the head of states. I look like a man who, one of these people who's about something, okay? Even look like how the enemy looks in terms of how they dress, what they call power dressing. And you're in your torn up whatever with your crotch sagging, and the two of us walk into, let's just say, the Intercontinental Hotel or the Dorchester or one of these, I can assure you security is not going to come into me. They ain't got nothing to say to me. They might have something to say to you, okay? Because the world says, don't judge a book by its cover. But the world judges every book by its cover. And so we set ourselves up. We always wonder, well, why are they troubling me, man? Why are they see, they can't put me on their news or their front page and say, oh, this is a mugger. Muggers don't dress like that, okay? But if you're all hooded up and, you know, dark and whatever, yeah, we, again, like I said, we think it's cool. Somebody's convinced us that that's the way that we should look. And that's us. That's who we are. No, that's not who we are. You're following somebody else's trend, dear family. And we think we are we've become the leaders in it. We're the trendsetters. No knowledge of self. That's heavy. You got to know yourself. When you know yourself, man, you're self-assured, you're confident, you really are standing on solid ground, okay? And you can't be hoodwinked, and you can't be fooled, and you can't be bamboozled and taken for an idiot. Dependency. We're too dependent on everybody else. People coming up to me, oh, when is the real McCoy coming back or whatever? Yeah, I say, well, it's not coming back. It's not coming back until we as Black people, actors and artists, pool our resources and start making the modern day Real McCoy or some other shows or whatever. We can do it. We got the skills, but we can't depend on the BBC or Channel 4, any of these white establishments to represent us. How are they going to do that? How? We're the only ones who can represent ourselves. Complacency, man. We are, oh man, honestly, I wish, you know, look how long I'm spending on this. Criminality. There's too many of us involved in crime. And I'm telling you, man, you know, you see, you know that thing that you bought the other day, yeah, for a quarter of what it's worth. You know where it came from. You know that it didn't come via, and understand that as long as you know that, you're compromised, okay? And you can't walk solid. You might get digi about somebody coming around your house because you got some things there that maybe, you know, certain people can see, but certain other people you wouldn't want to see because maybe you can't account for where that came from. Think about it, dear family. There's too much criminality in the Black community. And we live in a world that's designed to criminalize you, to make you criminal, to make you do criminal things in order that they can then spring the trap. It's by design. You understand why the car has got 160 on the clock or whatever, and the speed limit is 60 or 70? Understand, okay? It's designed for you to break the speed limit, and they all do it. The judges do it. They all break the speed limit. But when you do it, it's a trap, okay? This is all by design. Distrust, self-hatred. This is real, man. Black people don't trust one another. But what you have to ask yourself is, do you trust yourself? Because oftentimes the self-hatred is what really breeds the distrust of others. And I would encourage each of you to look in the mirror, man. Look deep into your own eyes and ask yourself, do you trust yourself? Because it's a serious question. See, you got to be able to trust yourself. I'm in the house. I'm on my own. I'm fasting. You know, I could have maybe a little bite of something or a little drink of something. I'm actually very, very thirsty at the moment. And I've been that way from this morning. I actually missed having my pre-dawn drink of water. I'm not going to do that, man. I trust myself. I got trust in myself. Okay? I'm not going to play that game. But in order to eliminate self-hatred, you've got to develop some self-trust. Poverty, it's rife throughout our world as a people. Poverty is real, okay? And it's right here in this country and in America, okay? Where we got like 50 million Black people and a large amount of them. Michael Jordan may be the richest athlete ever with over $2 billion to his name. But understand this, man. Oprah Winfrey may be a billionaire, but there you got Black people out in America by the millions who are living in absolute poverty, the most progressive country on the planet, so they like to say. Negativity, we've got to get rid of the negative thoughts and the negative actions. Displacement, we are not in our right environments. We've been displaced. Another reason why we have to make the places where we are, where we live, decent places to live, and stop thinking that the grass is greener somewhere else, because chances are if you can't deal with things here, you go somewhere else. You're just going to take the problem elsewhere. We've got to learn how to fix up where we are and make it proper, make it beautiful, so that when we do move on to something else, we're taking that same spirit and that same mentality with us. A lot of us want to go to Africa. I'm telling you, man, Africa don't need some of us with our mentalities, okay? Because, by the way, also we'll be going out there with a black skin and a white mind, and we'll have the same negative, nasty attitude towards our African brothers and sisters. Many of us right now talking Africa, Africa, Africa. Go to Africa and you be just like a Caucasian, a white man with the same nasty attitude towards those African people, especially when you see that the people in some parts are just not able to live the way we live in the West, okay? And then, by the way, in Africa and other parts, believe me, they live better than they live here in the West. I've seen it. I've been to Zimbabwe, been to Harare, the capital of Zimbabwe, and I'm telling you, man, it made London look like a dump, okay, in terms of its cleanliness. So just understand, dear family, that we're not necessarily in our right environments, okay? Lack of discipline. We need more discipline. Okay, we need to discipline our lives. Discipline is key. Discipline is a form of mathematics, man. Okay, discipline is what the steering wheel does, keeping the car on the road. All right, you need that discipline. Without that discipline, you're running off the road into a lamppost, into a tree. That's it, you're dead. You're causing mayhem. You need discipline to keep you straight. Too many of us think that discipline is something for white people or something for other people or something for nerds or stupid people. Come on, man. You need, and it's got to come from self. You don't want nobody disciplining you. Mean-spirited. We got to get rid of mean spirits, dear family. We need a good spirit, okay? We need that when people meet us, they feel an energy of beauty and love and harmony, not meanness, not a twisted up face where we got so much madness and filth going on inside that it shows on the face, man. Mean-spirited, we've got to end that. And finally, godless. This is my warning to us as a people. We are the people of God. You're making a terrible, terrible error as a black man and a black woman when you walk around today godless, okay? When you think that you can deny the existence of God. I ain't talking about no spook God floating on no cloud out in the sky. I'm talking about the God right here in each of us, that one that talks to you every time you're about to do something that you know you're not supposed to do, and you ignore that internal voice, that intelligence, that intuition, that inner tutor, that inner teacher. You are in defiance of God. Take it or leave it alone, dear family. I spent so much time. I didn't plan to do that. And you know, here we go. I'm saying today I don't intend to use many slides, but just to break down a sketch I wrote several years ago for the Real McCoy television show entitled The Start of Slavery. Dear family, we do not address the issue of our enslavement because we are nostalgic or have nothing better to do, but because those 400 years lie at the root of our problems today. And much of what I've written there is probably a lie because I think there's just too many slides, man, too much to get through, but we're going to try. And so if you can follow along with the script that I wrote several years ago for this particular sketch, see if you can follow it, and then we go over it because I've written it all out here as well. So let's go. Oh, sorry, I made an error. I've got to go back. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I listen to what we're saying and then we'll go on.
Gather around, everybody. This looks interesting. Come. Greetings, black brothers and sisters. We, your pale brothers from across the sea, are eternally grateful for your hospitality and warm welcome into your land and homes. In return, we would like to extend to you a tremendous offer. We will take your entire family on an all-expenses-paid voyage to a new land for a very exciting and unusually extended working holiday. A place where you will be guaranteed a lifetime of full employment. All this we promise and much more. This wonderful adventure will start a chain reaction all your life, captivating both your body and your mind, giving you a 100% change in outlook. Don't miss this great chance to make history. Much interest in this idea has already been whipped up, and you can help in this endeavor by joining us in our recruitment drive. We encourage you to hurry, even though this offer is open for at least another 300 years. Signed, John Hawkins. So what do you all think?
I think it's good.
I think it's good.
No, it is too good to be true. I bet there is a catch.
Okay, dear family, I hope you got it. But that was the sketch that we wrote several years ago, the start of slavery. And what the character said was, gather around, everybody. This looks interesting. Come. Greetings. This is what he was reading now on the notice that was posted by the white soldier in the village. Greetings, black brothers and sisters. We, your pale brothers from across the sea, are eternally grateful. And just a thought actually on the village there. You know, it was such a battle with the BBC just to get the village to look the way it did, because if they would have had their way, they just wanted some mud huts. They wanted some, the typical image that they would like to present of Africans. If you notice the clothing that we're all wearing, loads of gold and, beautiful headpieces and beautiful gowns or whatever, because I insisted that our people should be represented the way and the reality of who we were when these people came and actually tricked us and then manipulated the situation to the degree where they were able to capture many of us and bring us on a westerly course across the Atlantic Ocean in the holds of ships. And so it's just important to appreciate that even to get the thing to look the way it did, and that, believe me, that wasn't even really how I wanted it to look. I wanted it to look even better than that, because we just didn't have those little huts. You don't understand what Africa was like historically, but nonetheless, we managed to get what we got in there. The speech continues in the notice that he was reading. Thank you for your hospitality and warm welcome into your lands and homes. Because again, most people don't understand that John Hawkins and others, they came among us and they spent about 25 years before they made their move. We allowed them in. We let them come into our villages and hamlets and towns and cities, and they studied us, man. And they looked for weaknesses and they looked for things that they could capitalize on and things that they could exploit in terms of differences that they could then sow seeds of dissension among the people before they made their move. They gave trinkets to one group, to one tribe. They gave guns to another. This was some real stealthy behavior by these people. They never took us on a battlefield. They came with smiles. They came as a friend. Okay, this is how we were captured. This is how we were destroyed, dear family. I took most of my images from the very famous Roots by Alex Haley. And so it says, in return, this is carrying on with the speech from the notice. In return, we would like to extend to you a tremendous offer. We will take your entire family, because you got to understand this is what they did, on an all expenses paid voyage, because they weren't paying for it. We were paying for it with our lives, paying for it with our blood and with our tears, to a new land. And again, you see, many people don't understand why it's called New Zealand, why it's called New York, why it's called Newfoundland. You got to understand that these are all new places to Europeans who were just coming out of the hills and cave sides of Europe in 1492 with Columbus. They were just exploring for the first time, going into the new world. These people didn't know anything about this, and so they were taking us to this new place, okay, and to a new land for a very exciting and unusually extended, let's go over, unusually extended working, I'm emphasizing working holiday, because again, you know, we talked a little bit earlier on about unemployment, but understand this, beloved. During our enslavement and that period of 400 years of destruction, we had full employment, okay, for no pay, working from can't see morning to can't see night. And we were workers, man. And we built worlds. We built Paris. We built London. We built Washington. We built all of these capitals for these people. It was our labor, okay, that made them rich and made these this Western world what it is today. It was us, dear family. The railroads and everything comes from our labor. Understand this. Okay, working holiday, a place where you will be guaranteed a lifetime of full employment, generations living and dying on these plantations, generations work to death, okay? All this we promise and much more, this wonderful adventure. And I emphasize the word adventure because you see, again, I think I mentioned this maybe a couple of weeks ago, when I mentioned about, I was making comparison between, you know, the great movies that you've seen, the great adventure stories that you've seen. There's no adventure, dear family, no adventure that can equal the adventure of the black man and woman and what we've been through over the last 500 years. It's beyond anything that you could ever imagine in terms of an adventure, okay? And it will start a chain reaction. Okay, we emphasize that chain reaction in all your lives, because we were literally chained in chains. All right, this is real. And you know, they say, "Oh, wouldn't do it to a dog." Well, understand. You see these metal things that we would have around our wrists and around our ankles and around our necks. Do you understand that these things would cut into our flesh and that we'd be bleeding and that we were literally stinking, where our flesh would be rotting sometimes from the kind of wounds that were inflicted on us from these type of treatment? But this was totally and utterly barbaric and inhuman what was done to Black people, dear family. A chain reaction in all our lives, captivating both your body and mind, because that's what they did. It wasn't just, you know, sometimes you hear people say, oh yeah, you know, like slavery was like, it was a few bad white people. Shut up, you're foolish, you haven't got a clue what you're talking about. I know few, it was their whole economy, okay? It was the whole society, apart from some working class whites who were almost on the same level as servants and serfs and slaves or whatever. Nowhere near how they treated Black people, because those same working class white people would be the henchmen that they would use. Those are the ones who became the police and to catch the runaway slaves and so on and so forth. But my point is that, you know, it wasn't just some chains around our bodies, okay? What was done to us was actually scientific, because it was designed to affect the mind, to capture, to captivate both the body and the mind. And they did a job, okay? They were highly successful in what they did, even though throughout that process, there was resistance and there was those of us who were fighting and dying in trying to free ourselves from this type of torment, this mentality. He continues in that notice, giving you a 100% change in outlook. And again, I emphasize this. This is what I wrote. We developed a 100% change in outlook. This is what we got to understand, dear family, because it's like we think that the way we are today is the way we were or the way we should be. No, you see, we're different people today. Did you know that we've been made into a unique species of people as a result of what we've been through? We're not like anyone else. And each time when you try to equivalent yourself to somebody else, it's a mistake. We're unique people because of the unique circumstances under which we came up under. This is something that we must appreciate. We have a completely different outlook, and stop being embarrassed and stop apologizing for having a completely different outlook. And we have to change that outlook from the outlook that they gave us to now develop a brand new way of seeing, a brand new way of looking at things, not following the way others may look at things, but coming from our unique experience and looking at things in our own unique and special way. Don't miss this great chance to make history. We have made the greatest history, dear family. We have made the great history. Nobody has made history like Black people. They want to make Black History Month. What are you talking about? Shut up, Black History Month. A month? You think you can talk about us for a month, or we can talk about ourselves for a month? Black history is world history. Okay, because without our history, they would have no history. We made their history. Understand this, dear family. Much interest in this idea has already been whipped up, okay, because that's what they used on us, man. We were whipped. I'm sure you've all seen the famous picture of that brother's back, man, where it's just striped up every single direction that you could imagine. Well, that wasn't unique to that individual. That was standard behavior. They would cut off our ears, cut off our toes, cut off our fingers, cut off our foot. If we were running away and not wanting to be on the plantation and to remain in bondage, man, the brutalization was horrendous. Cut out our tongues. And then many of these things would be kept as souvenirs on their mantelpiece. My God. And you can help this, and you can help in this endeavor by joining us in our recruitment drive. See, they were, believe it or not, in all of this brutality, they managed to get many of us. This is where you get these terms like Uncle Tom. They managed to get many of us to collaborate with them in getting more of our people enslaved, in capturing more of our people. That's why when you look, you see many of the overseers were Black people, okay? Many of us who were enslaved eventually became enslavers, because I think they say one who is abused often becomes an abuser. Then when you look at the way our parents would chastise us, my generation, man, they would beat us with anything they could put their hands on. And that's a direct throwback to slavery. Our recruitment drive, we encourage you to hurry, even though this offer is open for at least another 300 years. Now, brothers and sisters, we couch that in humor, but because we're trying to get a very serious message across, and most of our people, we can't even take a straight word. You know, one of the things that I'm doing now when I'm doing the Image and Nation show, and we're giving lectures in the Nation of Islam, going to places like Hyde Park and other parts. It's because what I'm saying and what I've said, and you will hear it more from me, is that for over 25 years, I've been making our people laugh using the device that we call edutainment, educating and entertaining at the same time, making people laugh. But I say, I'm not doing edutainment no more. I'm not making people laugh no more. Now I'm going to give a straight word and people can take it or leave it. It's entirely up to you. See, because it's not a day for laughing like that no more. Okay, we did that because that was a way to get that bitter pill to go down, get that medicine to be consumed, that it could do its work. But today, dear family, we're taking it onto a whole different level. And so, as we come to the end of that particular notice that man came and nailed up in the village, it said, signed John Hawkins, okay? And then he says, so what do you all think? And everybody's saying, I think it's good, I think it's good. But then that beautiful sister character played by Judith Jacobs says, no, it is too good to be true. I bet there is a catch, see? Because that was that slave ship that was waiting off the coast, all right? And then as they turn it around for people now to just read the words for themselves that the character I played had just read out, you see on the back of it, we see the image of the slave vessel, the good ship, Jesus, because that was the first ship. That was the ship that was piloted by John Hawkins, Jesus of Lubeck, it was called. Imagine, they're coming on a ship named Jesus to enslave Black people. And again, you know, I'm not going to go into it this evening about Christianity and how that's been used, but you need to understand, dear family, that this man, you know, what he did was not some haphazard thing. It was pure science, evil science that was used in order to enslave us. I took this image from Roots again, where the brother holds up the baby. Because again, you know, family, I wonder if we appreciate just how much this is about our babies, how much this is about our children, how much this is about us as a people, projecting into the future for the unborn generations yet to come, and that we've got to build a foundation for them if we are not selfish and just thinking about ourselves and the moment that we're currently living in. He says, Kunta Kenti, behold, the only thing greater than yourself. Do you understand that this is what we used to teach as a people? And to be honest with you, even that statement, it wasn't that profound. It wasn't that great because, you know, he's holding the baby up to the stars, to the heavens and saying, behold, the only thing greater than yourselves. Well, we're taught in the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that the stars and the sun and the moon are not greater than the human being. The human being is greater than the sun, the moon, and the stars. The human being is greater than those heavenly bodies. Understand this, man. They're made to serve us, not us serve them. That's why we don't worship them. Those of you stargazers, those of you who like to do your horoscope and all that, ooh, get away from me. We worship one God, the one who is the author of all of that, the one who makes all of that. We don't stop at the stars and the moon and the sun, moon worshippers, sun worshippers. Come on, family. Understand that, you know, as I said, even this, and I'll play the little video for you because you know, it was one of those moments in Roots that was very, very powerful. But there's so much more to it. And behold, the only thing that's greater than yourself is God Himself, Almighty God Allah. There is no object greater than the human being. The child is picked up from the earth, heaven and earth. There's a relationship between the two. Deep, deep.
Kunta Kinte. Behold, the only thing greater than yourself.
That's our real relationship, dear family. The black man and the black woman, we're universal people, man. You have a relationship. Look at this.
I want to hear you say your name. Your name is Toby. What's your name?
Kunta. Lord God, help that boy. They're gonna whip him dead.
Do you realize how deep this is? No white man or any other people have ever suffered like the black man and woman by being forced to give up our names, language, culture, and our God, dear family. Nobody has been through this. See, again, we always question, you know, like the Irish went through their potato famine, the Jews went through what they went through in terms of the Holocaust, and, you know, people all around the world have suffered. The Native Americans, I tell you, man, there ain't no people on this planet that lost name, language, culture, God. See, that's deep. Those are the foundational stones of what makes a human being a human. Okay? And that's what we went through. And what you've got to understand, even about this scene, see, this scene is showing you an individual called Kunta Kinte. But it's not about an individual, it's about a whole people. And in particular, it's about the black man. And the hopes of all of the black people who are watching this scene. Will he break? Will he give in? Will he capitulate? Will he accept the white man's name, or will he stick to Kunta Kinte? Do you understand how profound this scene is? And this is what we went through. This is how we became who we became. Oh, brothers and sisters, it's time for us to really root.
What's your name? Say it. Toby. Who are you? Say your name.
That sister's face, that's the hope of our women, man.
What's your name?
Toby.
Wow. See that face? You just watched her man broken.
Aye. Say it again.
What's the...
Say it louder so they all can hear you. What's your name?
Listen to the devil.
Toby. My name is Toby.
Aye. That's a good nigger.
And that's when we became niggers. That's how we became niggers, dear family. As long as he did not capitulate to that devil, and he was willing to die, being called Kunta Kinte, he was a black man. But the day that we accepted his name, we became niggers and Negroes and coons and Sambos and all the other names that they called us, because now they had ownership. Now they had complete and utter domination and capitulation and our people became subservient to that one now who became Massa, master, meaning God. He took the place of God in our lives. This is real, dear family. And see, because most of us refuse to educate ourselves about what happened, that's why we keep going to these branches in the tree for the solutions, not understanding the root and where all of this problem is coming from. And that in order to overcome today's problems and difficulties, we have to understand the root. We have to expose that root and not be afraid of the exposure of that root, because once you expose the root, you kill the tree, man. That tree of white supremacy has to die. Dear family. So I put here, if you are not careful, however, Hollywood can make you think otherwise by using or by usurping the narrative and depicting themselves as the victims of crime, brutality, depravity, and terrorism. I just want you to appreciate, dear family, because you've seen films, you've seen the Last Temptation of Christ, I think it was called. I mean, let me just play this so you can see what I'm talking about, because nobody has suffered like Black people, but if you're not, Hollywood will make you think different.
I want to hear you say your name. Your name is Toby. What's your name?
Gunter. Lord God help that boy. They're gonna whip him dead.
What's your name? Say it. Toby. Who are you? Say your name.
Do you understand, family, that nothing like that has ever happened to a white man? No white man was whipped and tortured like that. But you put it in Hollywood and you start to now see him as some kind of victim of that type of treatment. No, the only people who suffered that was us. But if you're not careful, you find that you don't have no tears for us, but you got tears for them because you saw them play that role. I mean, honestly, the devil is very, very, very...
What's your name?
Toby.
Say it again. Say it louder so they all can hear you. What's your name? Cut him down.
And after they would,
Toby.
after they would bloody our bodies like that,
My name
they would sometimes
is Toby.
put molasses and other types of sugar into the wombs or salt, and they would put us out in the sun in the desert, and they would allow the flies and the other insects to come and eat on our bodies. I mean, man, if you knew what Black people have been through, and then to see that travesty where they depict themselves in that role, because it's identity theft, okay? It's them pretending to be us. It's them taking the sympathy that should be for us. It's them taking what has happened to us and turning it around and putting it on themselves as if they suffered that when they suffered no such thing at all. I hope you understand what I'm saying, dear family. He was found husking corn and feeding swine. And then he said, I will arise and go to my father. We're talking here about the prodigal son because you see, family, because we've sojourned so long here, what then happens is that we end up doing the most menial and filthy things as our form of work and occupation, pimping and hustling and using and abusing drugs and women and filling ourselves up with filthy food, filthy pork, eating all manner of nastiness. And so this is what this scripture is about, found in the book of Luke, chapter 15, verses 18 to 19, where it says, I will arise and go to my father. It says, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. This is the humility that we need today to return back to our Father's house, to return back to God, dear family, because this is what we've become if we're not careful. This is the kind of behavior. You see that mud and that filth and those swine, those hogs that we are now feeding. And do you know what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said about feeding swine? You see our comedians, when we're on that stage and we're cursing all kinds of filth and nastiness, and the more low down and filthy we get, the more the crowd screams and enjoying it and whatever. That's called feeding swine. We become like swine. We become like feeders of swine. This is what happens, and this is what becomes of the prodigal son, until he says, I will arise and return to my father's house. I hope that we understand what we're saying here, dear family, because it's very, very important. And as we go deeper into the 21st century, we're going to see more signs of the time, and we're going to come to appreciate that it's time that we have to make certain changes if we're going to survive, man, if we're going to get through the dark hour that's on its way. Therefore, the situation with Black people remains the same, despite the passing of time, law changes, and any number of other things that on the surface look like change for the better, but things remain the same. This is real, family. Why do things remain the same? Because the slave master and his children are by nature disagreeable to live with, which is why today we must separate ourselves, mind, soul, and body. Okay? It's a process, but it begins here. Okay? It begins in the mind, it begins in the thinking, man. Got to come out of her, my people, and be not partakers of her sins and her plagues, because her sins and her plagues have reached all the way onto heaven. Look at this, family. Look at.
Once again in the U.S., a white police officer fatally shoots another unarmed black man.
This is a very regrettable, very sad day in our community.
And I want you to listen very carefully to this report, because again, even the reporters, they're so desperate to try to mitigate or to try to make excuses or to try to even justify what the police do to Black people. You listen to his language, he talks about an unarmed black man, which is very true. But at one stage, right near the beginning here, he says the policeman is unarmed. Policeman's not unarmed, dear family. They're carrying tasers, they're carrying guns, they're carrying batons, they're carrying pepper spray, they're carrying so many weapons. But just listen carefully and you'll hear him even try to suggest, accidentally, I believe, but that the police was unarmed, not unarmed at all. Sorry, let me go back. I'll try.
Once again in the U.S., a white police officer fatally shoots another unarmed black man.
This is a very regrettable, very sad day in our community. and we have heard several expressions of a range of emotions, and we will get through this.
Grand Rapids Police has released the controversial video of the confrontation on Wednesday. A police dashboard camera captured an unarmed officer pulling over Patrick Lioya, a 26-year-old immigrant from the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Hey, stay in the car! Stay in the car!
Lioya seems to ignore that order. The officer's body camera picks up the struggle.
I mean, honestly, I don't want to keep stopping it, but man, you're listening to talking about immigrant from the Democratic Republic of Congo. You see all the language. See, you don't understand subtlety necessarily and how it's designed to make it sound like this brother basically deserves what he's getting because he's the other. He's foreign, man. He's not even, the man's done nothing wrong, okay? He's wondering why he's been stopped by the police. He's wondering why this policeman is so aggressive, telling him to stay in his car when he's getting out to say, well, what's going on? What's this all about? And it's just escalation and aggression coming from this so-called officer of the law.
The plate doesn't belong in this car.
As the officer tries to arrest him, he runs. Then a scuffle. The officer climbs on Lioya's back, struggling to handcuff him.
Stop resisting! Let go of the taser!
Then the officer's camera is turned off, either deliberately or because the off button was pressed during the struggle. A home security camera and Lioya's passenger videotape the rest. The taser goes off. Twice.
Let go of the taser!
Missing Lioya and hitting the ground.
The taser doesn't go off. The taser is fired twice. Let's get these people. Everything is accidental. Everything is an accident.
Then the shot. It's unclear why at that point the officer fired. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump says the video shows it was an unnecessary, excessive, and fatal use of force against an unarmed black man who was confused and terrified for his life. Local police have turned over the investigation to Michigan State Police. The Grand Rapids police chief has left open the possibility that the struggle over the taser had the officer in fear for his life.
They were struggling over the taser from my view of the video. So this is not a conclusion because I don't know what other information is out there, but it looks like that they were struggling over the taser for about 90 seconds.
Police killings of black Americans in recent years, particularly the videotaped death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, launched the Black Lives Matter movement in protests across the U.S. Whatever conclusion the investigation finds in this case, Lioya's family and civil rights activists are left to mourn yet another police killing of an unarmed black American. John Hendren, Al Jazeera.
They're always in fear for their life. And yes, they were struggling over the taser that he pulled out to use on the black man. Why? You want a few thousand volts of electricity going through your body? If somebody was going to tase me, I would try and stop them from tasing me. Why am I going to stand there and let you just fire thousands of volts of electricity into my body? For what purpose? What reason? What crime have I committed that you think it's necessary that you're now going to treat me like I'm some wild beast? This is the reality, dear family. And of course, they're always in fear for their own life. Okay, let's have a look. By contrast of the mistreatment and brutality of that black man, look at the way Jerry, the violent white man, is treated. Let's have a look at this contrast, shall we?
Jerry, do what they say.
Listen to how calm the white woman's voice is, the relative of Jerry, saying, Jerry, do as they say, Jerry, because it's no big deal. See, they know that no harm is going to come to Jerry because this is two white police. Jerry is white. The woman who's pleading with Jerry is white. So everything is safe, dear family. Everything is safe.
Jerry, do what they say.
Do what they say,
Do
Jerry.
what they say. Jerry. Jerry.
They're struggling with Jerry.
Jerry.
The white woman is even giving Jerry some thumps.
You're gonna get hurt.
The man is thumping Jerry as well. But remember, Jerry is one of their own. Both police are armed. They both got their gun. They both got their taser. They both got their batons. Now the woman's going to get her baton, give Jerry a couple licks with the baton, like a naughty child. Come on, Jerry. Stop it, Jerry. They've got Jerry on the ground now. They're in the puddle. They want to spare Jerry's blushes, so they even blot out the fact that his trousers are hanging off now and his backside is exposed. So they blot it out. They don't want to show the indignity of Jerry's private parts to the public. Jerry gets the baton away from the police. Jerry is now hitting the police with the baton. The policeman takes out his gun.
They're gonna hurt you.
Is he shooting Jerry? No. Jerry jumps into the police car. Does the policeman break the window with his gun? Does he shoot Jerry?
Do it.
Jerry, don't do it.
Jerry, don't do it.
Jerry starts the police car. And Jerry drives away and goes about his business. Did any of those police ever think about taking out their gun or their taser for Jerry? No, dear family. The root cause of the problem is that we were enslaved as a people. And we've got to appreciate, family, that we were captured and brought into captivity, and we've not yet left that captivity. We have to leave. We have to leave. And I'm not necessarily talking about tomorrow we've all got to pick up physically and leave. That may be down the road. But initially we got to leave in terms of our thinking and in terms of our behavior. And we got to leave from them and come to one another. We've got to come together. I really hope and pray that these shows, the Image and Nation show, really gives us pause for thought and makes us to realize that these are serious times. And it's not going to get better. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And the only people who are going to make it better is us. But it means that we have to really, really make a decision, come together and become the mighty, mighty men and women that we are. And with that, dear family, that's basically the end of my presentation for you this evening. We got to go to the root in order to cure the ills. All right, and I don't want you to run off. Please don't run off, please. Again, take in the adverts, try and visit one of the sites, one of the websites, try to, if you got children, you know, try and get them into WYLA, try to get them into Two Batters, Batter Trust School, try to get them into some extra curriculum learning where they're going to learn about themselves, pick up some item of clothing from the tribe or from Proud to be Black, or, you know, order your bean pie if you're in the UK from Nia's Pies, and support, dear family. So I want to thank you for once again allowing me this time. The time seems to really go quickly, but, you know, I've really enjoyed myself, and I pray that you have benefited yourselves. And so I want to greet you as I found you once again, dear family. Assalamu alaikum.
At Westside Young Leaders Academy, WILA, we are all about building the future leaders of tomorrow. WILA is a provider of special classes, programs, projects, and opportunities designed to bring the inherent genius out of our young African Caribbeans. The goals of WILA are to instill the tenets of success in our young leaders at an early age, creating an awareness and understanding of the opportunities that exist. The Academy provides consistent motivation to encourage participants to stay focused and to pursue those opportunities with passion. Get in touch now or visit WILA.com. WILA, building the future leaders.
Stop, look, and listen.
So that's it, dear family. Ismail Sise says, Assalamu alaikum, Brother Leo, Muhammad, Ramadan Mubarak. Great to have you back again. God bless you. Commenting from Finland. Wonderful. Good to hear from Finland this evening. Atiku, I don't know if I can really pronounce your name properly. Atiku Alim Salam from Cardiff, Wales, UK. Wonderful. Also writing some stuff there in Arabic, which I cannot read because they stole our language many, many years ago. DJ Mr. P says, Assalamu alaikum, Leo. Welcome everyone and greetings from London. Thank you, my brother. You're quite welcome. I think that was Mr. P replying to what I said to him earlier on. Coolwood Design, Salam alaikum, Brother Leo. I like the way Leo breaks it down. He's taught me so much. DJ Mr. P, absolutely. With the amount of crap we have been through over the centuries, it truly is amazing that we are still here. That just shows how strong we are. God bless Menelin. Glover Dragon says, I actually cringe every time I see UK black youth talking about the hood this and the hood that. It's cringy. Black youth in the UK have actually now internalized this idea of coming from the hood. Yeah, that's right, brother. You know, it's just quite ridiculous in truth, because really, you know, there is some stuff that's developed now in particular neighborhoods or whatever, you know, but really not to the degree where we should be trying to make it our home. You know what I mean? So much of it has come from films and music and everything that they've taken from Chicago and other parts of the States. And now, as my brother says, as Brother Glover says, we've internalized it now and, you know, basically trying to make it like, you know, that's who we really are. Yeah, Brother Glover Dragon, he's laughing at the 4 days of sunshine. Joshua Stonecutter, Assalamu alaikum, Brother Leo from across the lake, Norfolk, Virginia. Go on. Wonderful to hear from our people in Norfolk, Virginia. Thank you, Brother Joshua Stonecutter. We are being made out by the enemy, gatekeepers of the oppressive system, Shiestem, Joshua Stonecutter, and to many more promoting crime. Exactly. And also from our brother, salvation comes from within. That is correct. And DJ Mr. P, and self-discipline. Time to fix up. Kirkle Crease 51, listening from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, USA. Actual time 14:15. That's 2:15 p.m. Okay, so you're a little bit behind us, about 5 hours, I think. But yeah, good to hear from you, brother, all the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Joshua Stone Cutter, nice, I think, nice. Glover Dragon, Leo speaking on The Real McCoy. Do you realize that The Real McCoy has been uploaded to the BBC iPlayer, all of it? Yeah, it was up for about a year, brother, but I think they've removed it again now. I don't think it's up any longer, but it was up for the whole of 2020, I believe it was, or 2020. I don't think it was 2021. DJ Mr. P, the shackles tore our flesh apart to the bone. That's correct, brother. You know, I mean, all I can do sometimes is just repeat what I heard the minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said. He said, if the suffering of black people in the Western Hemisphere was known, it would make a brass monkey shed tears. Because we just can't even be, because even in terms of our imagination, we can't even imagine it. So it's even difficult for us to really fathom the depth of depravity and abuse and torture that was inflicted on us as a people. We just cannot even begin to imagine it, family. DJ Mr. P, Black history is world history. That's correct. If you think Roots was bad, you need to see the film Goodbye, Uncle Tom. Yeah, I've seen it, brother. It's disgusting. That is the heaviest film on our history I've ever seen. It's very deep. Again, Kirk Crease 51, our experience was prophesied in Deuteronomy 28. That's right. All of the scripture is talking about us, dear family, from cover to cover. You just have to understand how to read it to understand that it actually is talking about us as a people, what we will go through, our suffering, and ultimately our liberation. Our brother Kirk Crease 51 says, you are absolutely correct, brother Leo. DJ Mr. P, if you think Roots was bad, you need to, oh, we said that one already. Let's see, we're nearly at the end. Typical culture vulture, Poppy Shore. That's a Jamaican terminology Mr. P is using. It's true laugh out loud. Are you really going to stand there like a lemon and get tased? Cha. Think about it. If he's running away, why shoot him? Exactly. You know, but even when we're running away, evidently they're in fear of their life because we're running so fast. Maybe we'll create a tidal wave that will come and sweep the little devil away. This video is hilarious. It's like a comedy sketch. I'm not sure which video brother is talking about. He's probably talking about Jerry. Stop it, Jerry. They'll hurt you, Jerry. When Jerry beat up the two police and thief them car and disappeared. It goes too quickly, brother Leo. That's right. DC Precise says it goes too quickly, brother Leo. DC Precise, thanks. The DJ Mr. P gets the final word. It was very quick tonight. Yes, sir. Well, thank you, family. Thank you so much. And DJ Mr. P confirms, yes, the real McCoy was up on the BBC for just 2020, and they took it down again. Thank you, beloved family. Stay blessed, stay strong. And Mr. P says the Jerry video was hilarious. Beat up the cops and thief the car. Don't forget, brothers and sisters, visit our YouTube channel, Nation of Islam London Study Group New, LSG, like, share, and subscribe, and click that donation button to help us continue what we are doing. Thank you. May the Creator bless each and every one of you and your wonderful and beautiful families. And I look forward to seeing you again this time, same time next week. Inshallah, that means God willing, if he spares my life. Take care. One love. Bless. Assalamu alaikum.